The Colorado Avalanche have found their secret weapon as they handle the Dallas Stars in the first game of the first round of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. And with the way that this team played against Dallas, it has major implications for the remainder of the playoffs and what the Colorado Avalanche will be able to do throughout the remainder of the Stanley Cup final. We're going to break all of this down today right here on Avalanche Digest. But before we do so, I want to remind you to make sure that you're subscribed to Avalanche Digest. It is your number one place and one-stop shop for daily Avalanche news and updates surrounding the Colorado Avalanche. We're at 86 subscribers right now. This channel is fairly new. We've been going for just a little bit over a month here. 14 subscribers away from hitting that 100 subscriber mark. Let's get it done. If you're not subscribed, exit out of this video right now. Hammer that subscribe button and make sure that you are ready to go and dialed in for all of your latest Avalanche news and updates right here on Avalanche Digest. Let's break everything about this game one down, specifically the secret weapon that the Avs have found, which is in Mackenzie Blackwood, the goaltender that they traded for earlier in the season, in which they traded away former Avalanche goaltender Alexander Georgiev and Nikolai Kovalenko in exchange for Mackenzie Blackwood and Oliver Killington. Oliver Killington was then traded in a one-way deal to the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Erik Johnson, the longtime seasoned Avalanche veteran. Mackenzie Blackwood had a phenomenal remainder of the season playing for the Burgundy and Blue, doing a really good job between the pipes and putting up a lot of amazing stats. Now, the kicker about Mackenzie Blackwood was that he has never played in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He made his playoff debut in Dallas the other night playing for the Colorado Avalanche in Game 1 of the series. And the question was raised amongst all sorts of social media personalities and reporters in the NHL as to whether or not he would be able to stand the test of the NHL playoffs. And it's safe to say that Mackenzie Blackwood proved to everybody that he is exactly what this Colorado Avalanche team needed in the playoffs. His goaltending was superb in Game 1 of Round 1 of the playoffs for Colorado, where they handled the Dallas Stars 5-1 in a beautiful win to take Game 1 away in Dallas. Take a look at Mackenzie Blackwood's stats in that first game. He played the entire game, only let one goal in against the Dallas Stars, which gives him a perfect 1.0 goals against average. He had 23 saves on 24 shots, a .958 save percentage, and just an absolutely superb performance all over the ice for Mackenzie Blackwood. He was very comfortable between the pipes. And let's remember, too, the only goal that he allowed during the game was the fluky end of the power play goal from the interference penalty from Josh Manson, where his stick got stuck between the netting of the goal. He was without a stick. All he had was his glove between the pipes, and Dallas was able to generate a nice play and take advantage of his stick literally not being in his hand and being inside of the netting, essentially. So a lot of really good confidence and just really great goaltending from Mackenzie Blackwood in his playoff debut. And considering the fact that a lot of people were concerned about goaltending for the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs since Georgiev wasn't standing the test last season, and the last time that they were able to do what they did in the Stanley Cup playoffs and win in 2022, they had a similar situation in Darcy Kemper, who now is doing very well playing for the Los Angeles Kings. But essentially, the Colorado Avalanche have found that same sort of goaltender vibe in Mackenzie Blackwood, in which it's obviously not a franchise goalie, but it's the player that's going to be able to make the saves and be that guy between the pipes, in which the depth of the team and the remainder of the offense can continue to generate and get going to win these games and take these series early in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. Take a look at a quote from Mackenzie Blackwood. He joined the TNT broadcast team after the 5-1 Game 1 win, and he was asked by Henrik Lundqvist, a legendary goalie himself, playing the majority of his career for the New York Rangers. He was asked what his kind of thoughts and where his mindset was at for his first ever playoff game playing for the Colorado Avalanche this season. And he essentially just talked about how you have to remind yourself it's the same game that you always play. Obviously, a little bit more emotion. The playoffs a little bit higher stakes. Players want to win. But you try and play the same game and you do everything the right way, and you can hopefully produce if you're able to do so. That was Mackenzie Blackwood's quote on his first playoff start. And I think the quote matches up perfectly with the way that he performed. He was able to play his same game, arguably maybe even better than what we saw at some points during the season. He was very locked in, almost had his first career playoff game be a shutout. But essentially, Mackenzie Blackwood did a phenomenal job playing for the Colorado Avalanche in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll see him slotted in as the number 1 goaltender tonight in Game 2, and hopefully he can live up to the hype as well again this evening and continue to keep the goaltending at an extremely high tier for this Colorado Avalanche team. So a secret weapon for the Colorado Avalanche, really helping them look amazing so far in this first round of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. Another huge aspect of something about this Colorado team that is so good right now is essentially the depth of this lineup and just how much better this team is as far as playoffs go compared to last season. We take a look at the playoff lines for the first round. These were the lineups that we saw last game, and we'll see them very similarly again tonight. At the first line, Arturi Lehkonen on the left wing, MacKinnon at the center, and Marty Necas on the right wing. Jonathan Drouin for the second line, Brock Nelson and Valeri Nichushkin, and Yoel Kiviranta, Charlie Coyle in the middle, and Ross Colton on the third line. You see that exclamation point for Ross Colton. We'll get to that in a second, but on the fourth line, Parker Kelly, Jack Drury, and Logan O'Connor. Now, the biggest aspect of this depth and this lineup sheet is taking a look at how much every player in every line produced for the Colorado Avalanche in that first game. Obviously, you have Arturi Lehkonen scoring that insane rebounded goal off of his right skate, which got past Jake Ottinger and slid in for goal number 1. And then you have MacKinnon scoring not only a power play goal, but an empty net goal, and he has 3 assists on the night. But then you take a look at the remainder of the lineup and the remainder of the depth and what they were able to do. On the defensive side, Josh Manson had a beautiful rebound tip assist to Devon Taves, who slid it right past the right pad of Jake Ottinger for a beautiful highlight reel goal. And then at the point in the game when it was 4-1, Parker Kelly with a beautiful backhanded pass to Charlie Coyle, who was right in front of the net and had a beautiful goal against against Jake Ottinger. Just the depth of this team is really starting to show, and it's important that everybody produces at this point in the season. And Nathan MacKinnon had exactly that to say in an interview with Altitude Sports after the game. It's playoffs. We need everybody going, whether you're scoring, you need to make an impact, and I think that everybody made an impact. That was Nathan MacKinnon on the team's Game 1 performance. MacKinnon himself, a 3-point night, doing very well in the playoffs so far already, but you look at Devon Taves with a goal, Charlie Coyle with a goal, Arturi Lehkonen with a goal, Josh Manson and Parker Kelly with an assist. Everybody was producing and contributing to the success of the team, which is exactly what the Avs needed. And it wasn't just recognized by the Colorado Avalanche, it was recognized by the Stars head coach, Pete DeBoer, as well. In a post-game interview, DeBoer talked about how this team is much deeper last year, and they are a lot faster down the stretch. And he recognizes that this is a completely different Colorado Avalanche team that we are facing this year. They are much deeper. They're much faster with players like Marty Necas on line 1. And something that DeBoer said in the same exact press conference interview that's not on this quote here, but he did mention that they have Blackwood now. And Blackwood is a much higher tier goalie and someone that can produce a lot better in this year's 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. So the Avs have basically everything going for them right now. The only minor issue is Ross Colton did only play 7 minutes in the third period and only had 1 shift, and he's going to not be playing in tonight's Game 2. He left with a lower body injury. There's no update on his status. This was during Game 1, but it's expected that we will not see him slotted into the lineup. And that raises the question as to who will come off of the list of scratches in Game 1. Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, who's getting set to make his NHL return, as well as Miles Wood. They were both scratched from game one, but now with Ross Colton out with a lower body injury and will rest tonight, the question is how will he be slotted into this lineup here for the Colorado Avalanche, and what piece will be played in the role of Ross Colton? But regardless, the Colorado Avalanche do a splendid job handling the Dallas Stars in game one. They look absolutely amazing. Their depth, their speed, their goaltending. It's the healthiest the roster's been all season, and everything is coming together for Colorado as they take an early, strong lead in this playoff series against arguably their biggest rival in the Western Conference. We've got game two tonight, the Avs and the Stars continuing their playoff series, and we're going to hope that the Avalanche can continue their all-around strong hockey and get another win over the Dallas Stars in this first round of the playoffs.